Gorgeous move from Luka Doncic.
Deep three. Up from Luka Doncic.
How Luka Doncic should spend his millions. The NBA is filled with one multi-millionaire after another. Players with the names like Curry, Paul, Westbrook, and let's not forget, James, all make more than $35 million a season. Steph and Curry have spent millions of dollars on quite an impressive car collection. No one really knows how much LeBron James's Rolex collection is worth, but one of those watches will cost you $178,000 big ones. Then there's the multi-billionaire owners like Steve Ballmer, who owns the Clippers. He's worth $51.4 billion. This tech billionaire thinks it's high time that the U.S. works together to solve our issues, and he's putting his money where his mouth is. The former Microsoft CEO is single-handedly trying to get the nation back to a common-sense discussion on government based on facts. He shelled out $10 million of his own money to build a website called USA Facts, which takes the government's own data on everything from crime to taxes and makes it available and digestible to ordinary citizens like you and me. Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks and star of the highly successful show Shark Tank, is also a billionaire. His net worth is in the ballpark of $5 billion. In 1999, Cuban set a world record by buying a Gulfstream V business jet over the internet for $40 million. This purchase actually put him in the Guinness Book of World Records, where he still holds the title for the largest single e-commerce transaction. So who does Mark see as the next LeBron James on the Mavericks? Well, according to Cuban, it is none other than Luka Doncic, who makes a whopping $8 million a season. So when Curry and LeBron are out buying expensive homes, watches, and cars, what should Doncic buy? Last November, Doncic purchased a 5,225 square foot, 4-bedroom house in Dallas, worth around $2,700,000. I'm sure he'd like to buy more expensive things like his rivals, but we have some suggestions of our own, and we think if he too could be signing a deal where he'll be making well past $30 million a season. Stick around to the end of the video. Luka's got some beautiful women in his inner circle that could be worth more to him than the game of basketball itself. And while I have your attention, see that like button? Touch it. Just do it. Subscribe too. Thanks. I felt that. You mad, bro? First recommendation: anger management classes or therapy. Let's face it, Luka has a reputation of playing with his emotions on his sleeve. If you do anything to piss off Doncic, there's a good chance he's going to make sure you know all about it. During some of his on-court tirades, he has kicked balls into the stands, stomped on video boards, and pissed off one player after another. Not to mention the many jerseys he's ripped in half. All those fines, broken video boards, and torn jerseys add up and could cost Luka from starting his very own car collection of his own or even a collection of Rolex watches. He definitely has a love-hate relationship with the refs. We suggest he look into getting therapy or perhaps joining an anger management group. Anger management courses will cost him around $20 a session. Therapy will cost somewhere between $100 and $200 an hour. Then there's the interview owner Mark Cuban did back in August, where he said he would rather leave his wife if that meant keeping Luka Doncic with the organization for a long term. Here's his exact quote: "If I had to choose between my wife and keeping Luka on the Mavs, catch me at my lawyer's office prepping for a divorce," the Mavs owner told Swishline. The funny or perhaps sad part is that a lot of people actually think he's not lying and probably telling the truth. Luka Doncic has embraced his role as the leader of the Dallas Mavs after Dirk Nowitzki's retirement, and he's clearly a once-in-a-lifetime kind of talent. So yeah, we get why Cuban would choose him over his better half. A bromantic honeymoon vacation. So the second thing we recommend Luka Doncic should buy? How about getting Mr. Cuban some flowers or roses from time to time to keep their relationship on the up and up? And if you're gonna buy a billionaire some flowers, you will have to impress. So we suggest you buy a couple of dozen long-stem, long-lasting roses, which can cost you on average about $300. And while you're at it, why not go ahead and book a getaway for two? The good news is that you won't have to buy the airline tickets. Just take Mr. Cuban's jet down to the Caribbean for a nice weekend getaway. Prices for a 2-night getaway at Sandals Resort with a hut over the water would cost around $2,100 a night, and that's with the all-important butler. Of course, if Doncic wants to save his money, he could just keep averaging almost 30 points a game, and that could keep the relationship intact with his owner and miss Cuban keeping tabs on divorce attorneys. Basket ballroom dancer? For our third suggestion, dance lessons. Apparently, Doncic likes to show off his dance moves whenever and wherever he's given the chance, whether it be before a game or during practice. Unfortunately for him, there's most definitely a lack of talent when it comes to his moves on the dance floor. Dancing with the Stars, be warned, this is one sports star you may want to avoid in the future. Dance lessons on average would cost Mr. Doncic anywhere from $50 to $80 per session. An advantage for having dance classes may also help with Doncic's balance. It appears that in several games, Doncic sacrifices his body to save the ball from going out of bounds. Unfortunately, it has cost many networks and cameramen their cameras. Doncic has taken out several cameras in the last few seasons, and it looks like cameras have taken notice. While playing a scrimmage game last year, a camera almost got its revenge. If Doncic hadn't moved in the last split second, that camera would have been an all-star in the camera community. Make mommy proud. Another person who Doncic should spend a lot of money on is his incredibly supportive mother, Miriam Potterbin. Miriam, in her own right, has had quite the career as a former model and beauty salon owner. What makes Miriam and Luka's relationship so special is the independence she gives him. She encourages him to chase his dreams and gives him the space to do so. When Doncic was only 13 years old, he was signed by Real Madrid Basketball Club in Spain. In fact, when she left her son behind, she cried so much on the plane trip back, the flight attendants had to comfort her. Miriam says the hardest thing she has ever had to do was to leave her son behind in a country where he didn't even speak the language. Nevertheless, Luka had her unconditional support. Doncic's mother eventually made the move to Spain in 2016. As Doncic ascended in the basketball world, including his EuroLeague MVP and championship season back in 2018, Miriam was right there by his side every step of the way. She even accompanied him to the 2018 NBA draft in New York City. You better believe that wherever the rising NBA player and Maverick superstar goes next, from all-star games to deep playoff runs, or buzzer beaters, or grabbing rebounds, Miriam will be there to support him. So what do you buy a woman who has essentially given you everything? Well, perhaps a new home, a car, or a fancy trip around the world. We suggest all the above. A new nice 4,000 square foot home in Dallas will cost him around $1 million. A brand new car would cost around $85,000, and a trip around the world would average you about $30,000. If he likes it, he should put a ring on it. Finally, one other person that Doncic will more than likely spend money on is his longtime supermodel girlfriend, Anna Maria Goltz. The two have been dating for quite some time, so there's no surprise that at some point, the two will likely get engaged. So how much for an impressive engagement ring? Well, for a little over 20-carat Asher cut diamond engagement ring that is sure to impress the other NBA wives, Doncic is looking at around $683,000. The good news is that if you spend over $100,000, you'll get free shipping. So to recap, anger management or therapy, $80. Roses and a getaway for two to the Caribbean with your owner, $4,500. Then we have dance lessons, which could add up to around $300. Then there's his mom, who deserves a house, car, and a trip around the world. So we're looking at around $1,100,000 big ones. And finally, the engagement ring, $683,000. All of that adds up to a grand total of, let's see here, carry the one, and then you have $1,787,808. That's not a lot of money for someone already making $8 million a season. We think if Luka Doncic takes our advice and invests all that money, he'll get a brand new nice contract, great relationship with his teammates, his mom will feel great, and he can start his family with his supermodel girlfriend, all on a high note. Do you think he'll take our advice? I mean, weren't we all that responsible with our money at 21? Be sure to let us know in the comments and subscribe for more baller shit. Be sure to ring the bell so you're always notified. And as always, thanks for watching.